We've combined our old book reviews into this one list post. Enjoy, and remember to see our pick of the best. Well-nourished, Andrea Lieberstein went to learn to eat Mindy. Then you may be interested in Andrea Lieberstein's new book, Well-Nourished, Reading While Eating. As an author, it's something I do a lot of. In fact, I basically never stop reading ever. But is eating while reading actually a good idea? Probably not, according to mindfulness expert and registered dietitian Andrea Lieberstein. Lieberstein, who also runs the mindfulness course Mindful Eating Training, has just released her new book Well-Nourished, a book all about eating Mindy. Lieberstein has been practicing mindfulness for 20 years and is also a mindfulness coach, so when I heard she was releasing a new book about mindful eating, an Ayurveda health practice, naturally, I was interested. Well-Nourished promises to provide tools for mindfulness. It's an important subject, and it is definitely worth learning to eat Mindy. I personally learned the importance of mindful eating as a teenager, now too long ago. At the time, I had a bad relationship with food. At school, I would regularly ditch the healthy lunchbox my mother gave me, and instead I would grab chicken nuggets and fries from the cafeteria. This is before schools were forced to start giving out healthy meals, and thank God for that. I used to eat those chicken nuggets a good few times a week. Except, I didn't really eat them. I wolfed them down. I ate mindlessly. I was barely aware of the fodder I was stuffing in my gob. The result? I was heavily overweight. I was probably in the top 10 fattest people in our school of over 500 students. No, I'm not proud. Then university came. And I became obsessed with the idea of A, actually feeling good about my body, and B, getting a girlfriend. Both required me to lose weight. To lose weight I needed to change my relationship with food, something Well-Nourished teaches eloquently. I started eating a lot more fruit. But not only was I eating fruit, I was Mindy eating that fruit. In a nutritious nutshell, I would slowly eat my food while being very conscious of all the senses involved with eating. This is actually one of the best mindful habits there is. By eating slowly and consciously I became far more aware of what I was eating. Everything changed for me when I learned to eat Mindy. Being aware of what we're eating is half the game. We can control the things we're aware of. It's what we're not aware of that is the problem, like cancer, for instance. When we're aware of it, we can do something about it. It's when we don't become aware earlier enough that the risk is greatest. Mindful eating makes us more aware of our food, and it slows the mind down. And that is essentially what mindful eating is all about. So, what does Lieberstein's book Well-Nourished add to the conversation? Well-Nourished is packed of tools and practices that help us to learn to eat Mindy. It's half education, half inspiration, which is precisely the kind of books I love. And it's definitely one of the best books for anyone who wants to learn to eat Mindy. The educational part comes in the form of step-by-step examples. There are meditations and mindfulness practices that are easy to follow and truly helpful. The presentation is also excellent. I particularly love the illustrations, which add a warm and friendly feel to the book. My favorite part of this book is the way in which Lieberstein covers mindful eating in depth while also bringing new ideas to the table. I've been practicing mindful eating for decades now, and I still learned a thing or two from Well-Nourished. Overall, Well-Nourished definitely does a good job of introducing us to mindful eating and showing us how to bring about a healthy body, mind and soul via our relationship to food. If you want to learn to eat Mindy but we're not sure how to go about it, Well-Nourished is a good choice. Well-Nourished is available on Amazon now. Have a look and let me know your thoughts about this latest mindfulness book. Leave a comment and remember to subscribe to our newsletter. Mindfulness for Mums and DADSDR. Diana Korivar has created a book that is truly thought-provoking. Mindfulness for Mums and Dads offers a deep exploration of it, and provides insight that is as invaluable as it is timeless. Given that Dr. Diana Korivar is a consultant psychiatrist specializing in women's health, it is no surprise that her book is loaded of science. But don't sweat it, you're not into science talk. The book is written in an easy-to-understand way that does genuinely make it approachable even while it is technical and deep. Mindfulness for Mums and Dads introduces the science of mindfulness and explains how the human mind functions. Dr. Diana Korivar explains precisely what makes you depressed or happy, anxious or relaxed. And after this science explanation, she provides practical techniques parents can use to make life more peaceful. The exercises in the book are familiar. For instance, there are breathing meditations, and exercises designed to make you stop and think. Mindfulness for Mums and Dads will give you a new perspective on yourself as a parent. And you will gain invaluable insight into how the way you are parenting, as well as helpful advice on how to improve your parenting. One of my favorite parts of this book is the presentation. The information is organized and presented in such a way that it makes it easy to dip in and out of. You can read it at your leisure, and you will find yourself often flicking back to sections for a quick reread. Doing so is easy, because the book is so well organized and presented that it's easy to find the section you're looking for. I particularly like the way that Korivar advises parents to go gently. The book is a challenge, but Korivar guides us through it and reminds us that we can go PC, and that we can make big changes in a gentle way. As someone who works in book marketing and copywriting, I can see this book performing very well, if pushed in the proper way. And I hope it does get pushed properly, because it is a truly enlightening read. Pick up your copy on Amazon. Choosing Love by Gina Lake. In Choosing Love, Gina Lake reveals how the ego interferes with love and happiness, and how, by using specific techniques and taking certain approaches to life, readers can move beyond their ego, transforming their relationships and themselves. The Pathways to Finding Spiritual Love. Anyone who has ever felt that their ego is getting in the way of them making the right decision and acting from a basis of love would do well to glean the insight and wisdom of Gina Lake. As a spiritual teacher and author of many spiritual books about awakening to our true nature, Gina Lake has a profound amount of knowledge about how a person can overcome their ego, achieving an enlightened state of mind that is of benefit not only to the person themselves, but to everyone who close to them, and the world in general. Gina Lake holds a master's degree in counseling psychology and has been helping people with spiritual growth for decades. She has used this wisdom to write many life-changing books, including Trust Life and Radical Happiness. If you have not heard of Gina Lake, think Eckhart Tolle, one of our top spiritual gurus. Gina Lake's books fall close to the same messages, and the same personality, as that of Tolle's works. Choosing Love is a well-organized book which reads with great clarity. It is always the number one skill of a great writer to take the most complex principles and to write them in a way that laymen can readily understand. Gina Lake has achieved precisely this, creating a work which is both deep and meaningful, yet simple to read and approachable. Since reading Choosing Love, I've made several changes to my lifestyle and to the way that I have been thinking, and I must say that I am feeling more positive and have experienced moments of genuine clarity. The section, Ideas Are Just Ideas, was a real eye-opener for me. I'm the type of guy who has a profoundly powerful imagination, constantly coming up with new ideas but not necessarily making the most of them and not always being appreciative enough of the living moment. Gina Lake certainly isn't the first person to state the philosophies in the book, but if you're anything like me, you certainly won't mind being reminded to live in the moment and to appreciate things as they are. Gina Lake is a truly inspiring writer, and she has written her deep wisdom with accuracy and clarity. I have to recommend Choosing Love. It will leave you feeling inspired and provide much luminance and insights into your personal world. You'll love this book, well, unless your ego gets in the way. Indie Spiritualist Book Review. Chris Grosso is a multi-faith guy who runs a website called Indie Spiritualist. Chris' faith has been created by the influence of numerous different spiritualities, all of which are important to him. He is, in other words, a reflection of the times, for most of us have aspects of some religions and spiritualities we believe in, while not dedicating ourselves 100% to any one of them. It's a system I myself live by too. Not only does Chris have many spiritualities but many interests too, ranging from skateboarding to writing to music. Interesting guy, editor. This multitude of spiritualities and interests form the many vertebrae of the backbone of indie spiritualist. The book shares Chris' personal journey, and does so with honesty and a suitable amount of soul. It shares his low times, which include being an addict, but also high times. With humility, Chris shares the truth, and his honesty makes Indie Spiritualist a great read. Indie Spiritualist is definitely not a New Age book. It's spirituality on the street, dharma juxtaposed with rock, which, in the modern age, is the way it should be. Spiritualities must be willing to engage in modern society, not skulking in the recesses of history and tradition. Chris brings spirituality to the forefront, for people who perhaps may not have even considered spirituality yet. It is in its direct and no bullshit approach to spirituality that Indie Spiritualist finds its wings. A well-written and important book, it can proudly take its place next to the growing canon of modern, urban spiritual literature. Selfless Love. G.K. Burks. In Selfless Love, G.K. Burks, an author for Sweeping Zen, writes with beautiful poeticism as she describes the meditative path that moves individuals beyond the delusions of the mind and beyond such imposed limitations as ego and identity, towards complete peace, harmony and oneness. Ellen Burks is a mental health therapist and Zen meditation teacher. In Selfless Love, she utilized the breadth of her experience to deliver a clear and inspiring guide to healthy, holistic living. Move beyond your limited self with Selfless Love. The ultimate purpose of Selfless Love is to guide the reader towards the realization that all of life is one, that there is no individual self, that we are united in unbounded, infinite awareness and love beyond words. She achieves this through discussion of both science and of Christianity. What truly separates Burks as an author is her ability to communicate complex premises with simplicity and easy. The wisdom of the book, though powerful, is delivered with such clarity of thought that even beginner meditators will have no trouble grasping the reality of the book's message. And therefore, I must recommend this book to newcomers and practiced meditators alike. The book is available both in Kindle format and paperback is available through Amazon. Pick up your copy today. Here's the link. Selfless Love, Beyond the Boundaries of Self and Other. Rana George, The Essential Lenormand. So you want to learn how to tell your fortune with playing cards? We've found the perfect guide for you. Learn to tell your fortune today. In her new book, Rana George promises to teach you how to tell your fortune with playing cards using Lenormand, a 36-card deck with illustrations that answer the reader's questions. The Lenormand is a popular divination tool that has been in use for 150 years all around the world. Rana George promised to teach you how to use the Lenormand to tell your fortune in The Essential Lenormand, but does she succeed? The Essential Lenormand teaches readers how to tell their fortune. Residing from the Woodlands, Texas, Rana George comes from a long line of mystics and psychics. She has been using her skills to study Lenormand for over 30 years, which is an exceptional achievement given the fact that she looks about 18. She runs study groups and workshops and presented at TarotCon 2012. In The Essential Lenormand, Rana writes from both the personal and professional perspective, providing an insightful and informative read that will teach you how to tell your fortune in no time in simple-to-follow steps. I must also comment on the cover of the book. I'm not sure whether Rana made it herself or whether it was professionally done, but it looks truly beautiful. Even people who are not into fortune-telling will likely be intrigued just because of the wonderful presentation of The Essential Lenormand. This is an authoritative book on the Lenormand and an essential read for anyone wanting to learn how to tell their fortune. Head over to the book's Amazon page and pick up a copy today. Here's the link. The Essential Lenormand, your guide to precise mind whispering, helping you break negative thoughts and negative habits. Mind whispering sets one aim: to empower people to overcome negative habits and emotions, thereby transforming individuals mentally and emotionally. The book blurb promises to provide practical techniques to free the mind and purify perception, making responses more artful and connections more genuine. A New York Times best-selling author, Tara Bennett Goldman previously delighted readers with her book Emotional Alchemy, which looked at how to change deeply ingrained mental patterns. Mind whispering uses new discoveries in cognitive psychology and neuroscience to provide the most up-to-date information on how to remove negative habits and emotions. The book succeeds in many ways, while suffering the odd hiccup. Let's get the negatives out the way first, and please don't psychoanalyze me for putting the negatives first. Hey! The book doesn't quite deliver what the title suggests. It suggests the bridging of meditation with whispering. Horse whispering, dog whispering. It was this suggestion that first drew me to the book. However, the attempt to pull meditation and whispering together fell short of expectations. There isn't a genuine merger between whispering and meditation. However, that's just one small negative, and it's dwarfed by the positives. The most important positive of mind whispering is that it is legitimate science that offers real and practical solutions to spiritual and emotional problems. Though it sounds new age, it is very down to earth and practical, and will certainly help readers to break negative habits and emotions. It is also a very well-written book. The practices advocated or backed up with facts that are informative without being too weighty. The book reads well and is free from grammatical errors. Mind whispering doesn't succeed in merging meditation with whispering, but that failure is nowhere near as important as the success. This book will definitely help you to achieve emotional and perceptual purity of mind. Overall, 4 out of 5. Visit the Tara Bennett Goldman's website for more. Title: The Creative Art of Living and Dying. Authors: Elise Ching, author; Kaleo Ching, author. Length: 224 pages with a visually stunning front cover and such an intriguing title, we simply couldn't resist taking a look at The Creative Art of Living and Dying by Elise Ching and Kaleo Ching. Elise and Kaleo Ching are authors, artists and healers who use a combination of art and spiritual practices to provide healing and transformation for clients. Through 23 years of experience, Elise and Kaleo Ching have guided individuals on their paths of personal transformation. Their experience is broad enough and impressive enough to include coaching, qigong and art for personal transformation at John F. Kennedy University Arts, Idlewild School of Music and the Arts, Lucasfilm, and more. And of course, teaching at the now-defunct Lucasfilm. Add street cred to spiritual cred. It's a combination not often found. Editor. They're sharing the best of their knowledge in this book, which is being released August 14th. Here's the link: The Creative Art of Living, Dying, and Renewal. Your journey through stories, qigong meditation, journaling, and art. The Power of Meditation. Edward Volunes. Joining the burgeoning ranks of meditation books is Edward Volunes' The Power of Meditation. It's a book with one simple aim: to teach people meditation in order to help them live happier, calmer, healthier lives. The only problem is, there are already hordes of books on the same subject. What can the power of meditation possibly add? The answer is really very, very simple. The best answers always are. Volunes himself. Volunes has years of experience as a meditation teacher. Not only does that mean that he truly knows his stuff, but, and arguably more importantly, it means he knows how to teach meditation. So many meditation masters know everything about meditation yet aren't able to communicate their knowledge in simple to understand, clear, and concise language. Volunes, however, is a masterful teacher. He's found the perfect balance between wisdom and simplicity. The truth he shares in this book is profound, but it's a profundity communicated with down-to-earth ease and clarity. Included in the book you'll find guides to mindfulness, sitting practices, creative practices and more. There are a great many meditation techniques that this book doesn't cover, though. But I suspect the average reader won't mind. This is book intended for new meditators, and it's a book which delivers. I highly recommend picking up The Power of Meditation today. Pick up your copy here. The Power of Meditation, an ancient technique to access your inner power. The Power of Reiki. Tanmaya Honervote. Tanmaya Honervote is a Reiki master and US-based Reiki practitioner. In her new book, The Power of Reiki, Tanmaya Honervote helps readers to learn Reiki, with simple-to-follow instructions and helpful photographs. Whether you're hoping to ease the pain of illness, to have more energy in your life, or simply to learn a new skill, The Power of Reiki is an excellent read, an excellent introduction for Reiki newcomers. Of course, if you are new to Reiki, you'll be looking for a book which is clear in its instructions and comprehensive in its information. The Power of Reiki is both. The photographs make it very clear precisely how each move is performed, and the instructions are written with clarity, making it very easy to follow. The Power of Reiki also works as a fantastic introduction for people who aren't really sure what Reiki is all about, but who are interested in finding out. Tanmaya Honervote has done a fantastic job of making sure the foundations are in place. In other words, she makes you learn the basics correctly first, so that as a newcomer you gain an understanding of precisely what Reiki is. There are great explanations of how the energy involved in Reiki works, and great explanations of the many concepts and aspects of holistic modality. I must confess that I myself know little about Reiki. This is the first Reiki book one have looked at, so I am not able to comment on how useful it will be for more advanced practitioners. However, for beginners, this is a fantastic way of learning Reiki and of discovering holistic modality. Highly recommended. Reuniting the Two Selves, Katrina Rasbold. Reuniting the Two Selves is the continuation of Katrina Rasbold's Bio-Universal Energy series, which reveals how to reunite the two selves and use them for complete personal transformation, promising to create a new you and a life you will love. Rasbold argues that the highest goal of all human experience is in unifying the inherent duality in man and in nature. Readers are certain to recognizing the truth Rasbold speaks of. We have all experienced a state of being in two divided halves, two minds that seem to be pulling in opposing directions. In many ways, the entire reason we fail to achieve as much as we could is because where one half of our mind says, go right, the other half says, go left, and we end up, inevitably, stuck in the middle, unmoving. If only we could unite these two halves, surely we would become far more effective. Through reuniting the two selves, Rasbold reveals how to unite the conscious self with the higher self to create inner harmony. The book is part of the Bio-Universal Energy series, which begins with energy magic. It is worth reading the earlier entrants in the series before reading this one, as there is information earlier in the series which is necessary for complete comprehension of the truths of this book. Reuniting the Two Selves covers a lot of ground, from chakras to auras to the mind-body connection. So much detail is in the book that you may very well find yourselves doing a spot of research to understand everything that's covered. That's both a weakness and a strength of the title. It covers a lot of ground, but it does also require prior understanding, and is not necessarily the best book for beginners. Anyone new to spirituality is going to be scratching their head often. If, however, you are well versed in spirituality, then you will find this a highly enlightening read, one that is sure to present new understandings and new ways of looking at things. The Winner's Brain is one of the best books to ever have been written on the subject of how to improve brain function. The Winner's Brain was published by Harvard University Press in 2010. Written by Jeff Brown, a cognitive behavioral psychologist, and Mark Fensky, a neuroscientist, The Winner's Brain is certainly backed by enough brain power to shine through against its masses of competitors, and I'm pleased to say that in most cases it does. It certainly provides some excellent information on how to improve brain function, but it is let down by a few key faults in the work. The book is centered around the 8 strategies great minds use to achieve success that it announces on its cover. These key strategies for how to improve brain function. Tip 1. Self-awareness, a classic amongst self-help books, and here explained in an easy to understand yet intelligent and sophisticated manner. The book discusses the science of personality by tracing your views about yourself back to memories. It also discussed the public and personal personas, how most people fake their personalities when they're out. For people who possess a highly evolved sense of self-awareness, these two selves are very close to the same thing. When you narrow the gap between your public and real self, it is easier to read how others experience you. You come across as unafraid to share your real self and are more likely to be perceived as a confident, authentic person. How to improve brain function. Tip 2. Motivation. The most important factor for personal success. The winner's brain's approach to motivation is direct and practical. It advocates working on motivation by making a checklist of those dull, daily tasks that have started to pile up and then think of a meaningful reason for getting them done. Paying your bills on time helps you keep a close eye on your finances. Returning phone calls is an efficient way to network. How to improve brain function. Tip 3. Focus. This covers mindfulness techniques to bring you into the moment, a strategy well documented here on a role model. How to improve brain function. Tip 4. Emotional balance. Documenting the effects of positivity on your life. How to improve brain function. Tip 5. Memory. Use these techniques to improve your memory. How to improve brain function. Tip 6. Resilience. Bouncing back into success. This is one of most unique and well-written segments of the book and gives the very reassuring message that the ability to bounce back from a personal tragedy or other setback is something that can be learned. How to improve brain function. Tip 7. Adaptability. Reshaping your brain to achieve. How to improve brain function. Tip 8. Brain care. Maintaining, protecting and enhancing your winner's brain. The book ends with a few points on exercise for the brain and diet considerations. All in all, this is a very professional title, backed with a great deal of science and written with clarity. There are two key areas in which the book is lacking: passion and practicality. On the first note, the book is clearly written as a factual and informative textbook. That may be fair enough for some, but the simple fact of the matter is that if you are using this book for personal development, you may find it less than inspiring. It gives the facts and the figures, just not in a manner that leaves you raring to go. You won't feel a great dearth of life from reading this book as you would, let's say, from Deepak Chopra or Chris Gardner. On the second point, practicality, the book offers too few exercises to get your teeth stuck into. It has facts and meditation and the occasional and very basic tools for memory, but none are truly new and none are written in such a manner as to inspire you to begin using them. So where does that leave The Winner's Brain? It's a good book, no question. It is packed of facts, it is entertaining and informative, but it is not that fire in the belly, nor that personal trainer that's going to whip you into shape. A great book for information, but it could have been more. Pick up your copy here. The Winner's Brain, 8 Strategies Great Minds